Everybody, welcome back. Welcome. Lady Original Sophia Dame Wisdom. DNI, welcome from the Badland, DNI 27. If that really is you, welcome Dame Celestine, Queen of the Stars. Welcome Seattle Rain. Welcome. Welcome MS8114. I know you're in a gang. You can't hide it from me. Welcome, Rabbit. Welcome, Dame Sue. Dame, of course, Dame Anthis, Queen of the Mountain Garden, of course. Terry Lynn, welcome, Terry Lynn. Queen of Terry Lynn. What's cracking with yous? What's cracking? It's raining, man. Fucking raining. It's fucking raining. Welcome. I didn't do nothing, White Rabbit. I didn't do nothing. Wait a minute. Not yet. Hey, hang on. What are we doing? Quick break. Here we go. Oh my God. You are in a gang. That's right. Wait a minute. Before we really start, we are the greatest of all time, so I just want to show you this, in case you forgot this.
I'm going to give him a real whooping, and I wrote a poem. Some of you heard it, but this is a little conscience. I got a little gorilla here. This is his conscience. I keep it right in my pocket everywhere I go. Right there. And I wrote a short poem. It says it will be a killer and a thriller and a killer when I get the gorilla in Manila. That's right.
All right.
And I got his conscience right here to keep me on guard. See, here's where he looks when you hit it. All night, that's all you can be. All night in Malaysia. That's all you're going to see. The Philippines, rather. Come on, gorilla. We in Manila.
All right. I love you. All right. Don't forget that. All right, guys. Hey, it's what is it? Saturday, right? It's Saturday, I think. Is it Saturday? Hey, God, we in Manila, baby. That's a great idea, Dame Mountain, Dame Queen, and Dame Atlas. That's a great idea. We should do that. That's a great idea. I'll pass it on to my other spirit master. He's lazy. Sometimes. Lazy. All right. What do we do? Quick break. Get your smokes in now. Fog lights. I know. It's been talked about before. I just want to show you that real quick, though, again. And I'll show you why Brett Payne's fucking shit. Yeah, I want to look at that real quick with you guys again. The fog lights. We're chasing a totally different car. All right. Read some documents about that. Be on the lookout. I don't know. And Whitcomb? I don't know. I kind of want to watch some Gonzalez shit, but I don't know. We'll see. It's always good to watch some good zombie shit. How's that? Does that sound good? Does that sound good? We want blood and guts, Master Nature. Blood and guts. We want blood and guts. Blood and guts. I don't think we're going to get blood and guts. I'm not sure. Quick break. In the rain I go. Marching in the rain. Marching in the rain. Hello, it's Saturday. Welcome, garden. Hope you recovered from last night. Nancy coffee. Oh, yeah. All right. Let's go. I know. Again, the question is, it should have went to trial, did not? It should have. Anyway, that's always going to be the question. All right. Let me start with this. No, that's not it. What? Hey, what I was saying. Where is it? No, that ain't it. That ain't it either. Ah, here it is. All right. Now, guys, I know you've probably seen this before. I just wanted to show it to you again. Because it's one of those things that bugs you. So I'm going to read this to you. Because I'm good at that. All right. Let's go. Let's go. So we're starting at 2:44 a.m., right? That's where we're starting, 2:44. Pullman, remember? Right, this is where we're starting from, 2:44 a.m. This is where the car is, right? Nevada Street. That's where they see the car, right? Koberger's car, right? 2:44, right? Want to start there. I know, guys. I know. However, that's where we're going to start. We're going to start right here. We're starting right here. Yeah, right? Christie's Chaos. That's where this is coming from. 2:43, 2:44. I want to show you this first. You've seen this before. But this is the best view, in my opinion, of the other car that they're following, or they think they're following, because this is not Brian Koberger's car. I want to start with this. Of course, we've seen this before, but this is the best view of this, in my opinion. What's interesting, and this is totally meaningless, I'm sure, but this car right here that you see, this car, well, you've seen this before, but this car here, right, it's going to go up here, it's going to stop, it's going to wait for who they think is Brian Koberger, okay? We're going to say the wrong person, okay, or whatever, but this car is going to turn around here and pull up behind. Anyway, we're going to start there. That's where we're starting, guys. All right, let's check this shit out. All right. You see the car go up there? It's going to stop and wait for the wrong Koberger, his car to come. Here it comes. It's coming. See, he stops there. Right? It will turn around. It turns around right here and will proceed to go behind him or it. Right. You can't see it there, can you? No, it's a little washed out. Damn. It's a little washed out on okay. Yeah, you can't see it. Let me see if I can, hang on, guys. See, without looking at it through the phone, let me back up, guys. Let me back the shit up here, hang on. Anyway, it's washed out here, but these are fog lights, okay? These lights here, these are fog lights right here. It's not a reflection off these headlights. All right, these are fog lights. And when a car comes down here and stops, it's very evident and obvious that you can't see it on the phone. It's hard to see on the phone. But these are fog lights underneath the headlights here. They're on. Do you see that? These are fog lights. They are on. And that's who they think Brian Koberger is right there, that car. Right? We're at 244. And that's where Brett Payne starts. That's where he's tagging this from. But that's not Brian Koberger's car. Okay? Right? Remember, right? Because Brian Koberger's car doesn't have fog lights. So, this car at 244, maybe we're reiterating things, but that is not Koberger's car. I don't know who that is. If they're tracking that particular white car into Moscow, then that is definitely not Brian Koberger's car. At all. It's not. No. Completely. It's 100% not his car. However, I want to fast forward to. We're going to fast forward a little bit. But before I do, I want to read you this. Right? 244, right? That was a car you saw. That's not Koberger's car. That car has fog lights. So that is not suspect vehicle number 1. I don't know what car that is. All right? But however, we're going to skip down a little bit. And this is something that's always bothered me, guys. People have talked about this before. So we're going to skip, though, to 5:25 a.m. They're still calling this suspect vehicle number 1. This car at 5:25 in Pullman, that is Brian Koberger's car. That is his car, in my opinion. So this car that we're seeing at 5 a.m. right here, I believe that is Koberger's car. That's not the same suspect vehicle 1, though. However, 244. That's a different car. I'll show you at 5. Let's look at 5:25. All right? They're chasing around. So we're going to skip ahead, and we're going to skip to 5:25-ish. And you will see it's a different car. This car that we're seeing at 5:25-ish doesn't have fog lights. It doesn't. Get to it. It's a little bit after 5:25. It's around, where are we? A little later. Okay. All right. So here we go, right? So here's the car. We're at 5:27. And this is where we are, right? Stadium, Nevada. This is, right? We're coming back, supposedly. Yeah, that is not the same car. Okay. You cannot see it through the phone, all right, guys? But this car does not have fog lights. See, do you understand now? This car at 5:27, it has the slats underneath where, right? This, in my opinion, is Koberger's car. This is his car. It's this car. That's his car. Yeah, but we're at 527 though, guys. But you see though, the slats here underneath the headlights, these are not fog lights. This, in my opinion, would be Kohberger's car. However, right, the car at 242, this car, oh my. Yeah, let me back it up. Let's back it up a little bit. Back that thing up. Back that thing up. All right, here we go. Back that big thing up. All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right, let me back up. So there's a skip there, but we're at 244. That is not his car. Oh, and then I'll read the rest of that to you real quick. But what do I want to show you? Yeah, that is not his car. All right, come on now. Where are you at? Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, okay. This is the best view of this car. You can't see it because it's washed out, but those are fog lights underneath. The fog lights are on, guys. You see as he turns there also? They're fog lights. The fog lights are on. Under the headlights. That is not Kohberger's car. Not only that, well, I could say that black strip in the middle there. That is not Kohberger's car. The fog lights are on. You can see them as the car is pulling down here and as it makes a turn. Those are fog lights. What you saw at 5:30 was Kohberger's car with those little black slats underneath. See? That is Kohberger's car, in my opinion. Absolutely. Different car. Different fucking car. Different car. Different car. Right? Different car. Why? Well, again, this is his car, right? Now it's, right, we've seen this before. But it's cut off here. It's cut off, right? They've cut it off. They cut this fucking picture off. You see that with their box? Right? That's nice. But these are not fog lights, right? These are not fog lights. We know this. These are slats underneath the headlights. These are slats. These are not lights of any sort. That is Kohberger's car, but that car that they're chasing from 244, I don't know where they're chasing that car to. I don't know if they chase that car, they think that's the same car that goes into Moscow. But that car at 244, where Brett Payne starts clocking this, that is not Kohberger's car. That's a totally different Hyundai. I don't even know if it's a Hyundai. I'm just saying, it's a totally different white car. It doesn't have Kohberger's car here being impounded, right? This is his car in impound. Doesn't have fog lights, guys. We know this. Anyway, I just wanted to review that again. So that car that they're chasing at 244 to wherever, that is not Kohberger. That is not his car. No. At 5:30 a.m., I would say yes, that is Kohberger's car. That looks just like this car that we're seeing in the shop here, in the impound, being taken apart. That is the car, right? It's very, to me, that would be the car. But let me show you this. So yeah, I know. But these are the problems, though. These are big problems here to me. right? You got the wrong car you're chasing around. Okay. So, yeah. So let me back up a little bit here and read this to me. Right. Right. He jumps. He jumps here. They jump. There's a big jump here. I just want to point this out to you guys. He does try to fill in the gaps, but there's a big jump from 2:44 a.m., right? Another sighting at 2:53 a.m. We're still in Washington here. We're still in Pullman. But then from 2:53 a.m., there's a jump in his affidavit. He does try to fill in the blanks in Moscow, but here's the jump, though. Then we jump to 5:25 a.m., just like we just jumped before, right? A white sedan, which that is Kohlberger's car. This one, I believe, is consistent with the description of, that's not, see, they're following two different cars here. It's not the same car. Somewhere they got mixed up. Or I don't know what again, we don't know what the fuck they did. This is Brett Payne. Yeah, we see this. We see this at 5:25. We see this at 5:27, whatever. But again, there's a huge jump, though, between 2:44 and 5:25, which is what we saw. However, he does try to fill in the blanks. Okay. And most of those, well, we shouldn't say that. Yes, this is bullshit. Hang on. One little thing I want to read to you, though, with this. Yeah, all right. Yeah, all right. Where is it? Oh, we're not displaying a front license plate. Blah, blah, blah. No mention of the fog lights. Fuck the license plate. We're talking about lights that aren't there, that shouldn't be there, that we're seeing on a different vehicle. Oh, yeah. Based on his experience as a patrol officer, according to Payne, this is a residential neighborhood with a very limited number of vehicles that travel in the area during the early morning hours. Okay, sure. Anyway, I can't find what I'm looking for, you guys. That's where they lose sight of it. It disappears from their cameras. After 4:20, the car disappears from their cameras. And then what they're saying is, then it magically reappears at 5:25 a.m. in Pullman, Washington. That's what they're saying. Okay. So they lose track of his car, I guess, for an hour. As they say, lose track of it. Doesn't go by the same route it came in, I guess. It went along the Palouse River, supposedly. Anyway, just want to start with that. Fog lights. Very still important to me, they're still important. Yeah, because that car at 2:44 a.m. they think is suspect vehicle 1, that is not Brian Kohlberger's car. And I don't know where they followed that car. They may have followed it right on into Moscow. But that ain't Brian Koberger's car. No. Absolutely not. Anyway, I hope you like that. We'll start with that. Then I want to read a bolo to you. This is from that document dump from Washington State. This is part 3 of this. 209 pages in this one. Most of them are duplicates, though. But this is an email. I'll show you this email. This is a be on the lookout for that white Hyundai Elantra. This is 11/28, 2 weeks after the murders. Interesting email. I'll read it to you. Quick break. Quick break! Welcome, Chrissy X. Ferris. Welcome, L.A. Riot. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My brain wants to fizzle too. We can fizzle together. We can fizzle together. Nice and clean. Fizzle together. See? What do the cards hold? Now remember, if we're doing cards, we're asking about Maddie. Remember, Maddie. Who is probably targeted for like 6 months. A year, maybe. I don't know. Maybe 6 months. Maybe all throughout the summer. You know, working at the Mad Greek. Stuff like that. Stalked. 6 months. 6 months. At least. I'd say 6 months. Anyway, whatever. We're not going to stalker. We're not doing the stalker yet. We're not doing stalker. I don't know. So many things would have had to gone right, I think, in order to pull it off. I think so many things would have had to gone right. I think again, you have to be one of the luckiest people on the face of the planet. I mean, how much luck is there in this case? Everybody's fucking lucky. Koberger was lucky for a while. He's lucky he picked the right house at the right time. He's lucky that he picked the right door to go into that was magically open. Wasn't locked. Guess he knew that. Again, a simple question. What let's say it's just Koberger, right? Let's just say that. Well, what would he have done if the door was locked? Then what? Remember we talked about that. You know, everybody's lucky. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Except for the victims, I'm just saying. But there's a lot of luck going on here in this case. A lot of luck. Dylan's lucky as fucking hell. We all know Dylan. Dylan hit the lottery that night. She hit the fucking lottery. We know that. So she's really lucky. And Kohlberger's lucky because the door was open. He didn't have to break in anywhere. He didn't have to crawl in through a window or, try to jimmy his way in through a window somewhere. No. He walked in through the back door, guys. And the back door was just unlocked. Just happens to be unlocked. And maybe it was open. Who the fuck knows? He just happened to pick the right time, the right place at the right fucking time, guys. Think about that. I mean, it's a simple question, right? It's a very simple question. But it's hard to get around that. It really is hard to get around a simple question like that. I mean, all these elements have to align. You know what I'm saying? Just right. Oh, and there's a DoorDash right before the murders happen. There's a DoorDash that, and that's more bullshit I wanted to read you in this email. There's a lot of bullshit in this email. All right. They leave out crucial details. They talk about Molly seeing they try to make it seem like Molly saw the car, Kohlberger's car passing her, when in fact we know for a fact it wasn't Brian Kohlberger's car that was passing her. It was a totally different car. She described the person who was driving the car with that spiky orangish hair. Right? That's not Kohlberger. That car is not Kohlberger's car. But you'll see how they try to make it all fit here. Okay. We know this is not true, though. Yeah. Interesting. This is 1128. It's just little things like this. Like little questions like, what would Kohlberger do if the back sliding glass door was locked? Well, then what the fuck are you going to do? Right? You're in your gear. You got your gear with you, right? You're all suited up to go, right? You got your mask on. You got whatever you're wearing, right? You got your blade, whatever else you got around. You got a vacuum cleaner on you and shit. Whatever. You're all ready to go, and the fucking back door is locked. Then what are you going to do? You're going to jiggle your way into somewhere else in the house? Is that what are you going to do at that point? Are you going to try to find a window to climb into? With your fucking gear and shit on? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think you're going to try to find a way in through a fucking window. I don't think that's happening. And if you don't know you could probably try the front door, but who knows? Maybe the front door is wide open. I don't know. Maybe the front door would be open too to these fucking people. You know what I mean? Who knows with Dylan Morris? Who knows with Dylan and Bethany? Who the fuck knows with these two? Anyway. Whatever. Let me read this to you. 1128. This is a be on the lookout. So this is just, he's forwarding the bolo. All right. Blaker. We don't have anything to tie this vehicle to the crime, but it is very much of interest to our investigation, all right? Great. So let's get into the email. All right. Want to update current progress of the investigation. This is Brett Payne, by the way. I think. Is Brett Payne? Yes. I believe it is. Yes, it is. Brett Payne. Okay. 27th. Sorry, the 27th. Brett Payne. So we know there's going to be shenanigans already in here. Anything Brett Payne has his name attached to, you know there's going to be fucking shenanigans to it. So let's go. It's only going out to MPD Pullman, Washington State. Extremely sensitive. Must not be shared outside of your agency. Very important. Right. You are ordered not to stop, detain, or contact a driver unless it is a life or death emergency. If you observe a similar vehicle to the one in the flyer, please gather the license plate as discreetly as possible and communicate that info here. Call the ISP number on the flyer to report these vehicles in order to keep the flow of information consistent. Do not air any of this information over the radio. You either contact me or Gilbertson. Gilbertson, with questions. I don't know, not Gideon. Come on. Right. So, this is the description of, right, this is the vehicle doing its thing. Right. The camera on 1112, right, captures audio which sounds like a struggle coming from the King Road house at approximately 4:17. No mention of any struggle going on between 1 a.m. and 3:30, but all right. At approximately 4:20, that suspicious vehicle exits King Queen driving very fast and leaves via Volenta, right? This is the last time this vehicle is caught on any camera we have, so it's likely, not certain, the vehicle exited off Conestoga West on West Palouse River Drive. That's what he says. This is the last time our cameras capture this vehicle. That's it. So it must have went driving along the fucking Palouse River Drive here. Right. But there's no other sighting, I guess, until 5:30 a.m. in Pullman, Washington. That is Kohlberger's car, I believe, at 5:30. But I don't know what car they're following around here. Yeah, not the same vehicle suspect number one. We're confident whoever is in the vehicle is, at bare minimum, heavily involved in what took place. That being so, the fact we're looking for this vehicle is critical to the investigation. Please follow the instructions on the Be on the Lookout, and do not tell anyone we are looking for this, or why, or air anything on that damn radio. Because we like to do that, I guess. What's up, motherfuckers? This is Sergeant Asshole reporting in tonight. Hey, how you motherfuckers doing tonight? All right, baby. All right. Like that kind of shit. Don't do that shit on the radio. You don't want to do that shit. You know what I'm saying here? Seattle Rain. You know what I'm talking about. You know about shenanigan. You know Mrs. John. Oh, God. When the fuck did you come in? When the fuck did you sneak in here? Seattle Rain. When the fuck did she come? We should break our fingers off. All right. Oh, no, we're gonna finish that goddamn war. That's what we're gonna fucking do. Remember, I told you the last part of the war is gonna be like 9 fucking parts. You didn't fucking believe me, but it is true. So we're sifting through all these leads. Stop. This is interesting, though. Numerous search warrants have been served, to include 2 on an apartment at 500 Queen Road. Interesting. 2 on an apartment at 500 Queen Road, which is right next to the house, essentially. I forget whose house that is. I'm thinking, is that Showalter's house? I forget who's Queen Road. Is that Showalter? Because I think Jack DeCoeur lives at 1117, right? Doesn't DeCoeur live at 1117? I think wasn't Queen Road, wasn't that DeCoeur, wasn't that God damn it now. Too many Jakes. That is Showalter's apartment, is it not? I don't know. I could be wrong. Showalter. I don't know. Queen Road. Please keep an eye out for the vehicle and be on the lookout, especially as students return. That's interesting. We are fairly certain of the vehicle we are looking for, per the FBI specialists who do such things. Well, they messed that one up, though. No plate info is known as of right now. Please let me know if you have any suggestions or questions. Stay safe and happy hunting. Your friend, Bulbous Creation, Payne. Happy hunting. That's right. Thank you. Welcome, Snowpia. I love you. That's right, Showalter. Thank you. I thought it was Showalter. 2 search warrants for Mr. Showalter. Well, that is true. There were 2 search warrants for Mr. Showalter. And Enon Harsh. Enon Harsh. 111. No. 1117. Wasn't it 1117? And this is the actual flyer. Okay. That's the flyer, guys. Interesting about this flyer is, what do you see in this car? These are fog lights. These are fog lights, guys. So the flyer that they put out, that's not Koberger's car. This is not Koberger's car. In fact, this is the car that we see at 2:43 a.m. This is the very same one. Same kind of car. 2:43. But that is not Koberger's car. No. No, it's not. This is Brian Koberger's car. Different. These are not fog lights. Remember, these are not fog lights. These are slats. These are black slats. These are not lights. Right? Right. Good. Good. However, these are not slats. These are fog lights down here. This is not the model. This is not the model. See? This, in fact, well, this is the right model. Actually, for at 2:43 a.m., that particular car, that is this car. That is not Koberger's car. So I don't know what the fuck, you know what I'm saying. So even the flyer, it's wrong to the person that they arrested. It's wrong, but it's right though in terms of whatever, I don't know what they're doing, which car they're trying to follow, which cars they're following here. But that would fit this particular car, though, at 2:43. Unfortunately, that is not Koberger's car, though. That is not Koberger's car, right? No. It doesn't have fog lights, guys. Those are fog lights underneath. That's the same car that would be correct at 2:43. But that is not Koberger. That is somebody else. Anyway, interesting flyer though. It's the wrong one. That is a 211, 213. Even that's again. Oh, okay. Okay. So excuse me. They show 2 different pictures. Oh, okay. Oh, well, they're tricky. All right. Hey. All right. So now we're showing 2 different types of cars now. We're showing one with fog lights, and then we're showing one without fog lights. See? The slats. That's Koberger. Koberger's car has a black... His car has a black thing, whatever you want to call it, that goes across the front here. So this is not his car, but this is, I know what, there's examples, but yeah, no fog lights, those are slats, that's a different car. So anyway, whatever, but that's the flyer. Ridiculous. Anyway, yeah, so what is this? This goes on, is this, yeah. Yeah, it's see a lot of, is this the same email, right? Yeah. See a lot of duplicates here, guys. Happy hunting. How many duplicates are here? Yeah, see, and then they show it again. Hi, Gary. Yes, all 4 victims were affiliated. The chapters include Sigma Chi, Pi Phi, An Alpha Phi. Working on a vigil. Yeah. Alpha Phi. Alpha Phi. Alpha Phi is interesting. Alpha Phi is interesting. Alpha Phi is interesting. I don't know why, but it is. Why is it interesting to me? Forward. Inquiry regarding murder in the area for the safety of my daughter. Oh boy, what's this one? Dear Mr. Honeysuckle Rose, hack and sack my balls. Or Hanso Wet. Which one do you prefer, guys? Dear Mr. Hanso Wet? Or hack and sack my balls? Which one? I don't know. Both names are horrible. I don't know. I think they were pissing in the wind, Mrs. John. I think they were pissing in the wind. And so I think they posted two different types of Hyundai Elantras, white, that were, not the same, in hopes of, like, I don't know, getting it. I don't know what they're doing. Remember, you got to keep in mind, what also makes this funny is there are 22,000 registered Elantras that would possibly fit the description of the car in the general area here within, I don't know what radius we're talking about, but 22,000, which makes these sort of things really funny because it's like, if you happen to get really lucky and see a white Hyundai Elantra that could look like any white Hyundai Elantra between 2011 and 2013, please let us know. And we got really lucky. See, luck is like this case is like the luck case. This is the luckiest case on the face of the planet. Everybody got lucky except the victims, of course, but we all got lucky, baby. We just happen to be within a 10-mile radius of the car. We just happen to be. It just happens to be that. Out of the 22,000 fucking potential white Hyundai Elantras it could be, it just so happens to be 10 miles from the murder scene. I mean, guys. I mean, again, what are the odds of that? If you're going to commit a murder like this, look, again, if you're going to commit a crime like this, you are not going to be living 10 miles away from the murder scene. Come on. Unless you are that absolutely that stupid. You have to be that dumb. I mean, really. I mean, you have to be that fucking stupid. I mean, is Kohlberger that stupid? I don't know. I don't think so. Look, if you're gonna drive your car to the murder scene, I would hope you live about 16 hours away. I would hope you live hours and hours and hours away from the crime scene. I mean, like in another fucking state. But I'm not talking 10 miles in another state. I'm talking, 3,000 miles away. As far away as I could possibly be. Within a 16-hour, 8 to 16-hour fucking drive, perhaps. Not 10 miles. I must be retarded, guys. Maybe I'm not the greatest of all time. I have to be the dumbest criminal of all time, guys. To think, you know what I'm saying? unless, unless, unless I'm inexperienced and I'm young and this was a crime of passion and I wasn't thinking about what I was doing, then maybe so. And I already knew the house. I knew who was going to be in the house. I knew the house was most likely going to be unlocked. I knew who was going to be there at that particular moment. Unless those things. Yeah. But Brian Kohlberger didn't possess those things. How, again, Kohlberger didn't possess this knowledge. How would he possess this knowledge? How would he have this knowledge? He wouldn't have this knowledge. It's impossible. It's right, guys? It's little things like that. But then again, you have him pleading guilty to these fucking murders. And I don't get it. Everything would say there's no way this could be. There's no way someone would be this dumb. I mean, and it is a matter of stupidity, I think. At this point, this person would be, I don't know. First of all, you're really lucky. First of all, not only are you dumb, but you're extremely lucky. And during the course of this, you're extremely lucky. But you're really dumb, though, at the same time. I don't get it. Same with Dylan Morrison. She's extremely lucky winning the lottery, but yet at the same time, she's extremely stupid. Same with Bethany Funk. Again, why does everybody they're all doing what we think would be rational, logical things we should be doing. Nobody does anything like that. They do the opposite. Everybody does, apparently, in this case. Everybody. That's why when Moscow and Idaho State Police, and when they set out to write this story, it doesn't make any sense. And that's why we have to go back to Little House on a fucking Prairie all the time, because they don't know how to write a story that makes sense. It doesn't make sense. And that you couple it with, well, we're looking for a completely different car. And we're putting out flyers that show two different types of Hyundais. Not to mention there's 22,000 registered cars that you and I are never going to sift through. I don't care. It's going to take you fucking months and months to sift through all these fucking cars. But again, we are the luckiest sons of bitches on the face of the planet. Our car just so happens to be 10 miles away from the crime scene. I mean, how fortuitous is that? We got to be again, everybody's lucky in this case. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Not everybody's this lucky. Right, guys? We should call this live, How Lucky Can You Fucking Possibly Get? That's what we should call this live. But the person who always takes the case in this lottery is Dylan Mortensen. She should be a billionaire at this point for how lucky she is. She should be a fucking billionaire, guys. I mean, good grief. Hell yeah. If I was Dylan, I'd probably play and that was real, I'd play the lottery every day of my life. I'd just fucking play the lottery because I'm probably going to win. I got a good feeling I win. So I play the lottery every day. Anyway, quick break. Hope you like that prelude. That was just a prelude, guys. Just a prelude. Now, act one. Depends how much you can take. We are the greatest of all time. We're also the dumbest, though, for some reason. Why are we so dumb? Why am I so dumb? Why am I so stupid? Why? many times? I guess the question I'd have too is, how many times would Maddie and Kaylee go to the corner club, go there, and then leave together? That's another question I have. I don't know if that, and I highly doubt Moscow or Idaho asked that question. I don't know for sure. How many times would Maddie and Kaylee go to the bars together and leave together, right, without a fucking chaperone? How many times would they go to the bars together, right, leave together, and not need a chaperone? How many times would that happen? It's a good question. Probably a lot. If they'd go to the bars together often, how many times would they need a chaperone out of the bar? That's a question I have. On that particular evening, though, they apparently had a chaperone with them. I find that odd. And that's why I'm asking. How many other nights like that, where they'd go to the bar, do they need somebody to walk them different places? Right? How often has that happened, is my question. Yeah. Good question, eh? I think that's a good question. On that particular evening, though, they had a chaperone. And one that apparently was warning them of something or saying something that seemed pretty sinister. And then they're murdered, an hour and a half later. So I guess, again, it boils down to luck. He must have really terrible luck, Mr. Showalter. He must have really bad luck. See, there's good luck and bad luck, right? We talked about this before. We talked about good luck and bad luck. Remember that? Long time ago. That is a theme in this case, though. Luck is a huge theme in this case. We talked about distancing, sanitizing, right? Luck is a huge theme in this case. Everybody's lucky. Either really lucky or bad lucky. Yeah. Strange how much luck there is in this case. Never seen a case like this that had so much fucking luck riding on it. Man, tell you what. Weird. Everybody's lucky. Bad luck, good luck. Yeah. All right. Well, you digging it now. I can feel you digging it now. You in the garden now, baby. Hey, you in the electric church. Did you know that? You are the electric church, baby. All right. Let's go. Round 2. Come on, Gorilla. We in Manila, baby. We in Manila, baby. Come on, Gorilla. Round 2. You can't handle the tooth. You can't handle the tooth. All right, here we go. What is this? All right. What is this shit? What is this? November 16th. Oh, okay. This is pretty early on. So this is a concerned parent. Okay. This is 3 days after the murders. This is them trying to reassure the parent. If your daughter has not yet contacted her professors to request an excuse from her classes or exam and class to make them up after Thanksgiving, I urge her to do so, especially after the provost's communication this morning. She may find them to be more amenable than she expects. I also want to say that I fully understand your anxiety in response to the current situation. We can, of course, never guarantee the safety of anyone in our community. Okay. But safety is our top priority, and we are making the best decisions we can with the info we have. And I know the incomplete information is disconcerting. Okay. And I know the incomplete information is disconcerting. Okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'm not gonna attack it too much here. Even I'm sorry. But still, even as we understand that police will not be able to release all of what they know in order to protect the integrity of their investigation, and I, for one, want them to be able to complete this investigation and bring the murderer to justice. It is difficult not to know more about the situation. All right. Look, don't do that. Don't put an exclamation point within a fucking parentheses. And where's the other parenthesis? Oh, there it is. There it is. And I, for one, want them to be able to complete this investigation and bring the murderer to justice. No, don't do that. Actually, what I would have done here is I would have put this at the very end. And you don't need a parenthesis. You don't see then, because you'd end it with this. You'd say something like this. You'd say this. It is difficult not to know more about the situation, right? Period. However, and, comma, I, for one, comma, want them to be able, right? You don't need to do that. Anyway, I wish I could give more concrete advice. Advise. Don't advise me. I don't want your advertisements. Don't advertise me. Why are you advertising me? I'm going to break your fucking knuckles. All right. Hey, Mrs. John, why are you advertising me? Is that on purpose? Why does it hurt when I pee? I don't know. Hey, Ellie Ryan and everybody in the garden, why does it hurt when I pee? I don't know. All right. Love you, MSA. I know we're in a gang warfare here, MSA. What happened to D&I? Did he flake out on me? Hey, Creamy Row, what's going on? I'll give you moo. I'll give you moo. I'll give you the land of moo. Don't you tell me, Creamy Row. I know what you're talking about. I'll give you the I'll give you moo. Everything come from that. Don't you fucking flake out on me. Don't you fucking flake out on me, Mrs. John. Oh, God, I need a cigarette, like, desperately. But nobody wants me to smoke. We smoking in New Orleans, baby. Hey, baby, I was smoking in the New Orleans. Yes, I was. And I got chased. Well, you know what happened in New Orleans, baby. You know what happened in New Orleans, baby. But yeah, I was smoking in New Orleans. I really was. Head full of steam, baby. Head full of steam. Like a locomotive. Like a train, baby. But yeah, you show that. Here's what. Here, this whole car nonsense. Here's what you're gonna do, right? At least is what I think you would do, right? If this look again, this should have gone to trial. It didn't. But you're gonna show the jury, right? You're gonna show the jury the same fucking camera footage, and you're gonna have somebody up there testifying and saying, that car that you see at 2:43 a.m., does that appear to have fog lights on it? You're going to ask your expert that. And he's going to say yes, or she, yes. I could definitely see fog lights on that car. Right? And then you're going to point to Brian Kohlberger's car. And you're going to say, do you see fog lights on Brian Kohlberger's car? Does he have fog lights on his car? No, he doesn't. Well, then what car is that? Right? That's what you're going to do. You're going to show him the same fucking footage. Right? And you're going to ask your expert, do you see fog lights on this car? And he's going to say, yes. I do. It's right there. I see fog lights. So how are you going to explain, right? So you're saying vehicle suspect number 1, 2:43 a.m., that's the same car, that's Brian Kohlberger's car. When obviously it's not. So what car are you following? See? I don't think it would be that hard. I think at trial, I don't think it would be that hard to do that. You know? I mean, I don't think it would be that hard to do that. That car at 2:43 a.m. obviously has lights on underneath the headlights that are on. It's obvious. That's not a reflection off of any surface. There's nothing reflective at all. Those are lights that are on. So I don't think it would be that difficult if this would have gone to trial to say, have your car expert up there, right? And say, no, that is not the same car. Clearly it's not. There's fog lights. There's lights there. Kohlberger's car doesn't have lights. Doesn't have fog lights. He has slats underneath his fucking lights. That's not the same car. So that's all. I think you could do that relatively easy. And then what you could do is, then here's what you could do. You can use that fucking flyer. You can use that fucking flyer they put out and say, look, they don't even know what car they were looking for. They're looking for this type of car, this type of Hyundai. This is a totally different Hyundai Elantra model that they're looking for. They don't know what they're looking for. You know? And then you're going to say this. You're going to say, well, how many registered Hyundai Elantras could have fit the description? 22,000. Well, gee, Brett Payne, how did you and how did Moscow police and Idaho and how did you guys vet all these other how did you vet 22,000 cars? How'd you do it? How did you happen to find my client's car? But what did you do with the other 20,000? Why did you pick my client's car? Right? And then you're going to say this. By the way, Brett Payne, did you find anything in my client's car that suggests that he was involved in this crime or not? No, you didn't. So I don't think it would have been that difficult, guys, to build a solid defense here against whatever Thompson was going to fucking do. I don't think it's based on rationale, logic, and the lack of evidence. There's no evidence. That's what they had to work with. There's no evidence. Chasing around white Hyundai Elantras in the middle of the night is not evidence of anything. That's all they were doing. They were chasing around different fucking cars. What they thought was suspect vehicle number 1 was not. They saw a white car. They thought it was the same one that they were tracking from Pullman. It turned out it wasn't the same fucking car. That they thought it was Kohlberger. That wasn't Kohlberger's car. So either they got the right person, they got the right car, the wrong person, and the wrong car, but what they were tracking, initially possibly could have been correct. But somewhere along the line, it switched to Brian Kohlberger's car. That is not that same car in the first thing. Somehow they switched onto that one, and it's there. You go. But so they don't know themselves. Vehicle suspect number one. They don't know. And you could show that easily, I think, just by what I just said here. They're pissing in the wind. You don't see. For all you know, see, oh my God, it's so ridiculous, guys. It's ridiculous to me. They're trying to make you assume, here's what they're doing. They're trying to make you assume that just because you saw a white car floating around the neighborhood, they're trying to make you think that that white car, the occupant of that car, was the very person who went into that house, murdered them, blood fucking crime scene, impossible, imagine, right? It's the same person who gets back in this white car and drives off. That's what you're supposed to think. There's no proof of that. There's no evidence of that. There's none. But yet we're supposed to think that. And that's what Thompson was trying to do. Anyway, did I miss that part? Oh, yes, I missed a part. I'm sorry, guys. I missed a part in what I was going to read to you. Yeah, I'm sorry. I should read that part to you. It's important. So I'm going to back up. Back it up, bitch. Baby got back. Baby got back. All right, hang on. I don't know what that means, but I think they're ripping me off again, Master Nature. Everybody ripped me off up here. I thought of that lyric first, and then all of a sudden now I transmit down to fucking earth, and all of a sudden now you hear it in fucking that little twink song. That little twink song or something. Yeah, twink. Yeah, you fucking, I'm the twink, you fucking asshole. I'm the twink. No, I didn't mean you, Stanley. I meant, no, I'm not talking about you, Stanley. I'm talking about twink. Not you the twink. Well, I know you the twink, but I don't mean it like that. You know.
Oh God, are you guys fighting again? I can't take it much longer, Master Nature. My stupid fucking daughter! If she just fucking would let people know where I am. God forbid. Ever since she was little, I've always had problems with her. Savannah! Ever since she was little, I've had problems with this bitch.
Oh my God.
And now look what happened to me. I've been lost for 3 fucking months. 3 months. I know where I am, Savannah. You know where I am, Savannah. I'm in the land of Mexico. Nobody here speaks English anymore. Oh my God. Savannah, what have you done to me? I'm in Mexico. Nobody speaks English down here, you fucking twat.
All right. Hey, welcome, everybody. Thank you, Nancy, for your update. Always enlightening.
Fuck off.
All right. Sorry. Bring the murderer to justice. All right. All right, so yeah, attached is the original email. He's pointing out his concerns, asking, if just to make sure, I don't know, understand the process here of being able to go home, how assignments are going to be used or collected during this time. Safety related, of course. All right. However, I missed something here, guys, that I forgot to read to you. Where is it? Yeah, God damn it. Yeah. Something else he says in here that... Oh, yeah. This is it. This is what I was talking about earlier. Sorry, guys. Yeah, okay, this is what I'm saying. So we know this is not true. Look, during this time, this is Brett Payne, right? This is be on the lookout. During this time, at approximately 4 a.m., a DoorDash driver drops off food at the King Road house. Upon interviewing this driver, she told us she saw a male, right, in a 4-door sedan drive right next to her as she was walking in search of the address and leave the King-Queen area. The DoorDash driver leaves, and then the suspicious vehicle returns to the King-Queen loop. The vehicle apparently stops somewhere on the loop at approximately 4:08. The camera on the... You're right. He stopped... Look. We suspect at the southwest upper lot behind the King Road house at approximately 4:08. We don't know that. We don't know that. We don't know if the vehicle stops. We don't know that. There's no camera back there. Again, we talked about this at length. But this is not this. See, do you understand what they're trying to do here? What Payne is trying to do here is he's trying to meld these two things together. He's trying to say this vehicle that the DoorDash driver saw, he's trying to make it seem like it's the suspicious vehicle. That is not true. We know that is not true. This vehicle that Molly McMichael saw, right, is not this vehicle. However, the way Payne writes this here, he wants you to believe, right, that this car that Molly saw, this 4-door sedan, is the same suspicious vehicle that returns to the King-Queen loop. We know that's not true. So, that's what Mr. Payne likes to do, though. He does this in a lot of his documents that he authors. See, he does this a lot. Bulbous creation. I hate this bulbous creation. Okay, yes, because this is why. This is not accurate. This is not, the way he's trying to paint this is not true. This vehicle that Molly talks about is not who they're trying to say. That is not Kohlberger's car. However, he's trying to say these two things are the same thing, and they're not. Molly, however, did see a different vehicle and she described the driver. And it's not Kohlberger. And they don't know who, and the problem, the biggest problem with this of all is, they don't know who, or at least they never told us who that 4-door sedan was. That's the big problem. We don't know who that is. I don't think. That's the biggest problem here that Mr. Payne has. They don't know this car. Molly described it to him, and Molly described the driver of this four-door sedan, but it's not this suspicious vehicle. That's not it. Brett Payne. Thank you. Sorry, I forgot to show you that part. Sorry. Yeah, I know I missed something there. Yeah. But you see what he likes to do, though? He likes to put things together that shouldn't be. He likes to blend things together that shouldn't be. He does that with, again, we see this in these documents. The line starts off like, all the roommates were home by approximately 2:00 in the morning. That's one of these starts off like that. All the roommates were home at about approximately 2 a.m. in the morning. We know that's not true. That is simply not true. That is simply false. Yet we see that over and over again. Everybody was home by 1:45 a.m. Everybody was home by 2 a.m. That is simply false. That is totally false. There is no evidence of Ethan and Xana being home at 2 o'clock in the morning. Not alive anyway. Okay? Not alive anyway. Not alive. Not alive. That's the key. They may have been home, but they weren't alive. Okay? Yeah. That's the only way. There's only certain ways with this. And one of the ways with how this will work is Xan and Ethan have to already be in the house, and they already have to be dead. By the time Maddie and Kaylee come home, Xan and Ethan the best way this works is Xan and Ethan they're already deceased. They are in Xana's bedroom. Maddie and Kaylee don't know that. They come home to the house after 2 a.m. They get home, right? That scenario actually that fits. If you think about it, that scenario, I try to think about this more, but I think that scenario works really well here. It does. That would fit a lot of things. If that scenario, you know what I'm saying? That is one of those scenarios that works. Yeah, it works really well, actually. Yeah. It works much better than the renegade budding serial killer, a psychopath who just chooses a house at random, happens to get lucky and go through the sliding glass door that's magically open, murders 4 people in a house he's never been in before, doesn't know any of the victims apparently, has no connection to any of the victims that he kills. Okay? I think that's less likely than Xan and Ethan already being dead by 2 o'clock in the morning inside the house. I think that's much more likely to have occurred here in this case. That is much more plausible to me than this shenanigans with a psychopath who just happens. We talked about this at length before. Who happens to pick one of the most populated areas to commit this type of murder. He just happens to choose one of the most populated, 1 million cars around, 1 million fucking apartments around, 1 million houses around. He decides to pick that particular fucking house. It doesn't work. None of it ever worked. It doesn't work. It doesn't. None of it works. Unless I am not the greatest of all time, unless I am the dumbest killer on the face of the planet. That's the only way it works. But I must be the greatest. Am I not? We are not the greatest? My God, and I must be the greatest. What am I? Am I that dumb? Am I not the greatest? Am I that dumb? But here I thought I was the greatest of all time. But how can I be that stupid? Is it really like that? Is it really like that? Because that's what you'd have to believe. But is it really like that? Am I both the greatest of all time and the dumbest of all time? Is that really true? How can I be that at once? How could I be that? How can I be the greatest of all time, but yet the dumbest criminal on the face of the planet? How does that work? Not only am I the dumbest criminal on the face of the planet, I'm one of the luckiest criminals on the face of the planet. In terms of committing the murders, I am the luckiest son of a bitch on the face of the planet. Not only does a witness see me in the house, they see me. Not only does that happen, but guess what? I am so lucky that this witness who sees me in the house, they don't call 911. They wait 8 hours to call 911 on me. I've got to be the luckiest man on the face of the planet, guys. I'm the greatest of all time. I'm the dumbest of all time, but I'm also apparently the luckiest of all time, too. See? All in one. You catch the drift now? Do you understand what you've gotten yourself into? You in the garden now, baby. We are the greatest, the dumbest, and the luckiest of all fucking time, apparently. All three into one, baby. Seriously. Think about that. Think about that. You gotta be the dumbest, the greatest, and the luckiest of all time. I guess. Look, let's say let's play this game. I'll play this game with you. And we've played this game before, but I'll play this game. And again, there's no answers to this, guys. Nobody can answer these things. But I'll play this game with you. So what? So let's say I had an obsession with Matt. Let's say I developed a fucking obsession with Maddie Mogan. Let's just say that. Let's say I saw her somewhere, I talked to her, whatever, and I developed a crush on her. For some fucking reason, right? Maddie Mogan, right? Well, I see her again a couple times, and the more I see her, right, the more obsessed I become with her, right? Maddie Mogan. Why? Okay, fine. I have an obsession now with her for some reason. I don't know why. Let's just say I have an obsession with her. Whatever. Okay. That obsession somehow turns extremely dark to the point where within 2.5 months of being out in Washington, this obsession goes from an obsession, right? An obsession. Boy, man, she's really hot. I wish I could be with her. Why can't I have somebody like her? Why doesn't she talk to me? Blah, blah, blah. Whatever. But that turns real dark after 2.5 months. And now I want to murder this person. I guess. I'm so obsessed and I'm so angry now that I want to take her out. I'm just going to take her out. Whatever. Fine. But why would you do it in the middle of Rome? What? If you want to take her out, I understand that. But why are you going to do it in a house that you've never been in before, supposedly? You don't know the area because you don't live there. You don't know, right? You don't know who's going to be in the house at the time you go into the house, right? You don't know if that sliding black door is going to be fucking open or shut. You don't know that, right? We talked about this. And you're going to do all of this in the middle of Rome because you want to get to Maddie Mogan for some reason. Like right then and there on a Saturday night, on a Saturday fucking night in the middle of Rome, you want to go after Maddie Mogan because you're so obsessed with her. And you can't wait. You can't wait for a better time. Where either she's by herself or, I mean, if you're stalking her, right, or if you're whatever, you're gonna find a better time, I think, to want to go after her. You know what I'm saying, guys? And that goes for any one of them. It doesn't matter who you pick. It could be Kaylee. It could be Xana. It could be Ethan. But you're going to find a better time to do this. If you're so obsessed with one of these people, right? You're going to find I would think you're going to find a better time and place to do something like this, right? You're not going to do it like it's retarded. Again, I am the dumbest person on the face of the planet to think this. If I'm going to do something like this to Maddie because I'm so enraged by her or whatever, in the case may be, well, why would I do it then and there? I don't know who's going to be in the house. Why the fuck would I do it then and there? I don't know who's going to be in the house, guys. I don't know that. How would I know who's going to be in the house? I don't know what's going to be in the house, guys. I don't. Even if I enter the house at 4 o'clock in the morning, guys, I don't know what's going to be in there waiting for me. I don't. I know there's 7 fucking cars out in the parking lot. I know that. I know there's a shit ton of cars outside in the parking lot. I know that. But that doesn't deter me from going into a house I'd never been into before, just to get at Maddie Mogan. Does that make sense to you guys? But that's what you have to believe happened in this case. Look, if I'm well, you know this. We drive by the property 12 times, whatever. We're still seeing the same 6, 7 fucking vehicles out front. They haven't moved. How many people do you think are inside the house at this point? If you see 6 or 7 vehicles parked outside a residence, how many people do you think are in the house? 2? What would make you think that there's only 1 or 2 people inside this house when you see 6 or 7 cars out front of it? What would possess you to think that? I mean, wouldn't you think, well, fuck, there could be 10 people in here. I don't know. How would you know? Do you understand? But that's what you have to believe here, right? And again, why did this not go to trial? This should have gone to trial, for sure. It's ridiculous. The whole story, the premise, whatever, it's ridiculous, guys. I'm sorry, but I gotta be the dumbest. I have to be the dumbest. I thought I was the greatest, but I'm the dumbest. Why? Look, if Maddie Mogan pisses me off that much, if I'm so obsessed with her to the point where I'm so angry that I will never get Maddie Mogan in my life, I'm so angry that I'm going to take her out, why the fuck would I do it in Rome? Why would I do it in the Vatican? Why would I try to kill somebody in Vatican City? Why would I do that? I would take her out. First of all, if I was going to do that, I'd follow her a little bit more. I would take her out where she's isolated somewhere. That's what I would do. And then I throw her in the Palouse fucking river, like the rest of them. You know, like the rest of the crimes in Moscow, Idaho. I just throw them in the fucking river, the Snake Canyon, the Snake River. Bill Thompson knows about the Snake River. Or just drown them right there in the middle of Moscow. Just drown them right there in a fucking pond. I drown them right there in the stream. See, that's what I would do. I drown them right there in a creek where the water is only 3 feet high or 4 feet at most. Yeah, that's how high that creek was when that person allegedly drowned. The creek was only 3 to 4 feet high, guys. Okay, and I guess he drowned in it. He drowned in it, guys. Drowned in it. Remember that? Yeah. Yeah, when we look back through weather data, and you go back, if you look through weather data and you go back like to that period of time where the suicide supposedly happened, where somebody accidentally drowned in 3 feet of water. Yeah, that it was about 3 feet of water actually. That at the time, if you look at the weather reports going back, that body of water was only about 3 to 4 feet high at the time. So that's true. So yeah, this poor schmuck with really bad luck. Apparently he drowned himself or something in 3 feet of water. Okay, I guess if you're that fucking blitzed, guys, you know what I'm saying? If you're that blitzed out of your mind, I guess you may drown in 3 feet of water, guys. I guess it may happen. Yeah, I guess. I mean, who knows? It sounds plausible. Right? I guess. Look, okay. I mean, whatever you want to believe. It doesn't matter to me. But that's what you're going to have to believe here, guys. Sorry. I don't make the rules. Anyway, I'm going to go outside and think about going to Vatican City. And, I don't know, randomly hunting down people that I don't know for no reason. I'll do it on a Saturday morning, Saturday and a Sunday morning. I'll do it on a Saturday and Sunday morning. Where, you know, that's probably where most people are going to be they're going to be like drunk or fucking, but they're going to be around. See, they may be passed out, but hey, again, you may be walking into a house that has 10 to 12 people in it and you don't know. But based on the number of cars outside, I think you'd have to assume there's more than 1 to 2 people in the house. I think you would have to assume that to yourself reasonably. You know, again, why are you going into this house at this particular time? It makes no sense. You don't know what's in the house. You don't know how many people are in the house. How could you know this? If you're Brian Kohlberger, you wouldn't know this. You're not parked outside the house for 2 hours straight, watching people going in and outside the house. You're not doing that. Okay? You are not parked out front of the house, watching the comings and goings of the people going in and out of the house for 2 hours. You don't know who's in the house. Moscow doesn't know who's in the house. Idaho State Police doesn't know who's in the house. See? Yeah. Oh, yeah. There are people in the house. That's for sure. Don't get me wrong. Oh, yeah, there are people in there. Yeah. More than one. For sure. Running around in that house. Bobbing up and down in the window. After I ordered DoorDash, waiting for the DoorDash, I'm bobbing up and down the window just to make sure I can see when that DoorDash is coming. I don't want to be seen, but I want to know when that delivery driver is going to get here. That's why I'm looking out that window, because I did that on purpose. I ordered that food on purpose. I'm waiting for her to show up. I don't know. Maybe. McMichael says she saw me bobbing up and down in the window. That's what she says. I saw somebody up in that window, bobbing up and down in that window, looking out. And then, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I was doing for like a couple of seconds. And I looked again at the window, and I saw the same person looking out, bobbing up and down. The same person looking out at me. I don't know. That's what she says. Bobbing up and down in the window. She says that a couple times throughout her interview. Yeah, at 4 o'clock in the morning. 4 o'clock in the morning. We're bobbing up and down the window. Or wait, are we dancing with our dog at 4 o'clock in the morning, guys? Hey, are you dancing with your dog at 4 o'clock in the morning in the living room? Are you dancing with your dog? Are you dancing with your fucking dog? Let's just start there. Are you dancing with your dog in the middle of the living room at fucking 4 o'clock in the morning? Are you dancing with Murphy, your dog, in the middle of the living room at that time? Are you doing that? Are you really doing that? I highly doubt it, my friends. Give me a fucking break, Dylan Mortensen. Give me a fucking break, Dylan Mortensen, satire. Welcome. Think about that. That's ludicrous. That very statement alone has always been that statement is so that I'll tell you what. Every time I come across that fucking statement from her, I want to rip my fucking hair out. Every time I come across that statement from her, I want to rip my fucking hair out. It is ridiculous to think that. It's ridiculous to even picture that. She got that, Mortensen got that from the myriad of TikToks that Kaylee would film with her dog. That's where Dylan Mortensen got that fucking goddamn excuse. That's where she got it from. It came from all of Kaylee's fucking TikToks and other posts that she made on her social media with her dog. That's where Mortensen got that from. But Kaylee was not dancing around in the living room with her fucking dog at 4 o'clock in the morning or thereabouts. It's ludicrous. And every time I come across that from the Prime, I'll tell you guys, it boils my fucking blood. I mean, that is one of the dumbest things I think that this fucking Prime tells me. Yeah. Hey, is her GoFundMe still suspended? I should look on that. I hope it is. Or paused. Or is it paused or suspended? Which one? I paused, right? It's paused. Something. Yeah. But I want you to contemplate Kaylee Gonzalez. I want you to contemplate this. I want you to contemplate her dancing around the living room with Murphy the dog at that particular hour. I want you to just contemplate that. Dylan Mortensen, that's what she says. Contemplate that. I'm sorry. Mortensen, I love you, baby. You got that from Kaylee's TikToks. You got it from her social media. You know she would dance around with her dog. You know she would do that. She posted about it quite often, Mortensen. But she wasn't doing it that fucking night, you fucking cunt. And you know it, and I know it. That's not what she was doing. You know it, and I know it, Mortensen. You better fucking believe it. So I'm just going to reiterate again. Every time I come across that statement from Miss Mortensen in her interviews or whatever documents that we're looking at, it's ridiculous. It's absurd. Mortensen knows it. I know it. My garden knows it. It is. That line is one of the most infuriating lines in this whole entire case to me. In this stupid story, this line infuriates me the greatest, probably. It makes me feel so stupid that I hate it to my rotten core. Every time I come across this statement from Miss Mortensen, it makes me feel like I'm really dumb. Like I'm really stupid to even think this is possible. Chameleon. Mortensen is a chameleon. She's always been a chameleon. That's part of her nature. Mortensen, we talked about Mortensen's psychology for a long time. She is a chameleon. Mortensen has a lot of psychological problems. She has a lot. One of her problems is she's a chameleon. She's a fucking chameleon. When we talked about stalkers, talked about her being a stalker, perhaps. But she's a chameleon. Amongst a myriad of other problems that she has with herself. Yeah. So, this business about Kaylee dancing with Murphy in the middle of the living room at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning here, guys. Okay, that ain't happening. I'm just telling you, we know that's not happening. I'm telling you right now, that never happened. That never happened. Never. Never, never, never. This is Dylan Mortensen, okay? This is Mortensen. How do I explain this? Mortensen is very good at... One of Dylan's greatest things with her is, we talked about this at length, okay? She is very good at cutting and pasting aspects of people's lives, okay? Cutting and pasting, okay? Onto herself. She's very adept at doing that. So, look, one of these cut and paste things that I'm talking about here is this line about Kaylee dancing with her dog at 4 o'clock in the morning. That never happened. This is a cut and paste from Dylan Mortensen. Dylan Mortensen is very good at taking other parts of other people's lives that she knows about, okay, and applying them to herself in some fashion. She's a chameleon in ways, all right? That's not necessarily chameleon. I'm just saying that's part of it. Not quite, but it's an element. I should say it's an element of that. An element of chameleon here. So that's what you're seeing with this statement. And this is one of the reasons why it infuriates me so much, is that I know this is a copy and paste job from Dylan Mortensen. I know that. I know she's copying and pasting here. One scene that she's seen from a Kaylee TikTok that she made, and maybe she was even present when Kaylee made this particular TikTok with her dog. Maybe she was even present at the time that Kaylee made that. Okay? But she is copying and pasting these things. That her dancing with Murphy at 4 o'clock in the morning when she's murdered, that absolutely never happened, guys. That absolutely never happened. Mortensen, again, what is she doing? She's copying and pasting. That's what Mortensen does here. Mortensen has a lot of problems, guys. We've talked about her psychology at length. I love talking about her psychology because I think she is absolutely fucked up. I think Mortensen is absolutely messed up. She is. She has a lot of problems, my friend. I mean, just listening to her interviews and getting just gathering other information. She has a lot of problems to me, a lot, and they're scary. Some of them are very scary problems. Yeah. That she's my prime, and she's been my prime. She's always the prime. Or the better way of saying this, she's at least a co-prime. I should say that. Because, why? Because Kohberger did plead guilty. So we got to keep that in mind. So what I should say is, Mortensen at the very minimum is co-prime here. I should say that, because that's more accurate to me. Kohberger, though, he did plead guilty, so fuck. Can't get around that. Not yet. You can't get around that. So we have to always accommodate that because that's what happened here. So it's a pain in my fucking nuts, but because without that little problem, everything else flows very smoothly, except that problem. This case flows very smoothly, very, very smoothly, like a nice little river, right? Gentle river, until we hit a certain point. And then the case becomes a fucking like a rapid. Now, we were just going greatly along this nice little stream that we got here. We're building evidence. We got a lot of DNA evidence. We got unknown male DNA evidence in the house. We're floating along the stream very nicely. But then all of a sudden we hit a point where we hit the rapids. We hit a rapid point here. And all of a sudden the course of this investigation shifted. We hit a rapid point. We hit the rapids. Somewhere we hit the rapids. And shit got fucked up at that point. We got to, I think what happened here is, guys, we got to an understanding point, and that understanding point was not ideal. It wasn't ideal, and something else had to happen. Very difficult to say, but something else had to happen here. Yeah. So, if Kohlberger is one of the murderers, fine, but that's fine. But there's, again, he's not the only one. He is, again, co-prime at best. If you're going to say he did this, but he pled guilty. Doesn't mean he did it, but he did plead guilty. So we always got to consider that, though, here. Again, we are the dumbest criminal on the face of the planet, then, right? We're dumb, we're lucky, and apparently we're the greatest of all time. So I don't know how you come to a Kohlberger suspect like that, but you'd have to be all these things, really. You would have to be. We are the greatest. Anyway, enough lecturing. Well, you wanted blood and guts? I'm giving you blood and guts. That's what I'm giving you. I'm giving you blood and guts. You wanted blood and guts? I should give you the real blood and guts. Then you really love me. All right, enough about Kohlberger's car. I think we covered that. Yeah.
On his return, Americans showed their gratitude. In General Pershing's words, it didn't hurt the Air Force in Europe
Where's
so much to wish.
General Doolittle, soldiers,
All right.
ladies and gentlemen, coming over here, there was a very great lesson. The first 4 hours, we passed over a destroyed land. Utterly destroyed. You who have not seen it do not know what hell looks like from the top. That's what Germany looks like. That Austria looks like. That's what any place that the 8th Air Force and the 3rd Army worked on looks like.
All right, you wanted the best. You got the best, baby.
You must remember this.
Listen.
That from Brest to various towns in
southern Germany and Austria, whose names I can't pronounce, but whose places I have removed.
Yeah?
The trail of the 3rd Army and the 19th Tactical Air Command and the 8th Air Force is marked by more than 40,000 white crosses, 40,000 dead Americans.
All right.
How deeply he felt about his men.
Old blood and guts, I told you. I told you wanted blood and guts. You got blood and guts, baby. We are the greatest. I gave you blood and guts. You say you want more blood and guts, Master Nation? I gave you blood and guts. Right. It's all right. It's all right. Baseball's been very good to me, guy. Listen, I want to say baseball has been very good to me. All right, baseball. All right. I love you. This is John. You think the war is over? Oh, no. The war is not over, Mrs. John. Not when I show you old blood and guts. The war's not over. Just begun. Oh, my God. Slipstream here. Slipstream. Oh, God.
I know my daughter used to do the same fucking thing, you know. She'd chew tobacco at fucking 19 years old, the fucking bitch. I said, Savannah, why are you chewing tobacco at 19? She said, Mama, shut your mouth, I'm going to fucking bury you in the desert.
All right, I love you. All right.
Yeah, so Mexico, you mean, you fucking bitch? All right, wait a minute.
Oh, no. Are you really?
Yes, really. All right. I know it's the moment you've been waiting for. This is Nancy Guthrie reporting live. I know you've been waiting for this moment all your life. Well, anyway, I have a story to tell you about Savannah. But first, I think I should play you something. Oh, I don't know. Oh, God, shall we play The Hobbit? You don't want to see The Hobbit again, do you? Oh, God. You're not a hobbit at all. You're a little pixie. You're an evil little pixie, aren't you? You're not a hobbit. You're an evil little pixie thing from the desert. That's what you are.
All right. Anyway, sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm very triggered right now. Very triggered. Very triggered. So, stick attacker.
Oh, my God. Oh my God.
I don't think this is very funny. Tyrone, this is Nancy Guthrie, you know. And hang on, I gotta play you something. Something really weird, I think. I gotta set this piece up just nicely. I tell you a story.
Well, fuck. All right. We can do that. Cut the shit out. I don't know. Oh dear. What will strike our fancy? What do you think? Yeah, we've seen this before. Oh, that's interesting. Always loved the Royal Albert Hall. All right, it's something like this. Yeah, we've seen this before, but it kind of speaks well. Listen. All right, then I get to my story there. I get to the story. Get this. Hey, take a seat. All right. Yeah. Let's go, baby. Let's go. All right. Now you know who you're talking to now. All right, let's go. All right, let's go. Here we go. What are we doing? I don't know. Let's look at this. I don't know. Chris Whitcomb. Shall we look at more of his stuff? Chris Whitcomb. That's his name, right? Oh, wait a minute.
Ooh, beer, not beer!
Really?
Oh my fuck, Mrs. John. You thought it was over. It ain't fucking over. Here you go. You wanted it. Yeah, you fucking. Here we go. All right, hey, we're starting real fucking war. Now the real fucking end of the war start now. We're gonna end it right here, Mrs. John. Anyway, the fuck I'm gonna show you. Fuck off. All right, here we go. So this is who's this guy? Chris Whitcomb. I'm sorry. I thought it was who the fuck's that other guy?
You mean Chris? This is Chris McDonough, and yes, me and my wife, we were walking around Hawaii, and well, I found a black glove in Hawaii, and I turned it into the Hawaiian authorities, and they gave me a fucking medal case.
Hello, this is Chris McDonough. I found a black glove around 11222 King Road already. And I turned it in, they said, good job, Chris McDonough. Here's a donut, and please go away. But I bet you're gonna do 1,000 interviews on some weird, fucking weird shit. And yeah, Chris McDonough. Excuse me, Chris McDonough. And, all right. No. So anyway, no, this is Chris Whitcomb, not Chris McDonough. All right, I was getting confused there.
Opinions. I interviewed no one because I didn't really care for the scope of this book, what somebody thought about this 3 years after the fact. I want to look at primary source documents about what they said at the time, right? But we have to look at one thing. Paulette Sutton, a professional criminologist, was brought in by the state of Idaho to process to do a do a forensic analysis of the house.
All right, forensic.
Second floor bedroom. And the spaces in between.
Right.
Okay, so let's go back to that.
Let's go back to that.
The bedroom looks like one would expect of a crime scene. A horrific crime scene, the murder of 2 young people, awful in every conceivable way. But from the threshold of the door...
2 young people. 4 young people.
Blood spatter, blood transfer, mechanism of crime, all of those things, no issues per se. Knife sheath, perhaps.
I hope that was just a slip.
Second floor bedroom.
4 young people, not 2 young people. Let's hope that was just a little slip.
It looks identical. Once you get past the threshold of the doorway into that bedroom, you see undiluted blood, spatter, transfer, smears, all over the floor, all over the bed, everywhere, right?
Yes.
You get from the 3rd floor bedroom to the 2nd floor bedroom, and you see 0 blood anywhere on any flat surface that's ever been recovered. And this is the prosecution's report. This is Paulette Sutton's analysis, right? You see blood on all of the walls. There is blood transfer, and it's all laid out in her report. Blood transfer on the walls leading down the 3rd floor hallway, down the staircase. It's on the flat part of the railing. It's on the wall. It's on the other side of that knee wall, which is extremely hard to explain, at least for me.
Yep.
Down the stairs. And
me too.
Into the living room.
In my garden.
It was attacked, based on their narrative, near the kitchen, between Dylan's room at the bottom of the stairs, through what we see as the beer pong table, toward the knee wall. How do we know that? Because the police found, she documented, and very clearly wrote about blood transfer everywhere. It was cast off blood, indicating in their report that someone was slinging their hand so soaked with blood from the Maddie and Kaylee on the 3rd floor that it was cast off as far as approximately 15 feet from the doorway to the kitchen, across the table, hit the knee wall and the far wall, turn left, and you see it down the hall. All of it, according to the prosecution report, was quote unquote, I know this now, quote unquote, diluted with an unknown substance. You look at the characteristics of those bloodstains. They have no geometry. They do not have edges. They do not have a globule at the bottom, which is blood, a viscous substance hits. It drifts down. It shows you the direction of the it shows you the direction.
Music to my ears, my loves. Music to my ears.
What does that mean, that the patterns on that half wall? What does that mean?
Okay, great question. If you just take your hand, common sense, and you flick something off of a paintbrush, just for examul, if you do it straight on, it hits and it drips down because gravity interacts with the mass of the globule itself. It's viscous, so blood, maple syrup, water, they would all have a different streak because of the weight, the viscosity of the substance, okay? It drips down, it stops. When it stops, what remains of that fluid dries. It has geometry. It's a rounded globule, and it's very obvious in all the blood on the 3rd floor and all the blood on the 2nd floor. Those stains show direction because when it hits the wall, in this case a wall, and drips down, it's straight. If you're running from right to left and you sweep something across and it hits the wall, and the momentum, the inertia of that mass goes right to left. If it's going the other way, it goes right. So it's a roadmap. You can look at a crime scene, you can read blood spatter, and you can tell precisely what the velocity was, what the impact was. You can translate to the violence of that. All of that is well mapped out by the prosecution in Paulette Sutton's report. It's all over the walls. It's all over the beer pong table. I say all over. I'm talking about well over a dozen signatures, right? She says in her report it was all diluted with an unknown substance. But when you look at it, you look at these blood stains, and the police report initially says it was liquid blood on the ping pong table. It was liquid blood in other places. In fact, there was no liquid blood. There was no blood at all. It was all smoothed over. When you look at the crime scene reports, not only was it obviously diluted with an unknown substance, but those edges were removed. The edges which indicate a three-dimensional representation of fluid hitting and drying on a surface is gone. So the obvious question is, how did it get gone? Why is the crime scene in the bedroom so different on the 2nd floor and the 3rd floor from all the common spaces of the middle of that house? And why is there zero blood of any kind on the flat surfaces? How is that conceivable? Blood on the walls, blood on the flat beer pong table, blood all over the place. How is it conceivable there's no blood on the floor? That's the first question, and you had others.
Well, let me just ask you, following up on that. So you've seen more documents than we have because they're putting them out at a snail's pace, if that. Is it true that the only footprint on the floor in the whole area of that house was the latent footprint outside of Dylan's room? Is that the only one anywhere?
Well, there's obviously a very Xana's room where she and Ethan were murdered. There's blood all over the floor there. So if a killer fought to the death on the floor in that room, they would certainly be covered in that blood, and it's all over the floor there. There's nothing coming out of the room. So how someone would flee that type of a terrible situation without leaving blood is the first question. The answer to your question is, I've not seen evidence of any...
There you go. I love that. How comes we don't see a trail? A great question. How comes there is no trail coming out of Xana's bedroom that would go into the common space, into the living room area, right? And out through this. How comes there's no fucking trail? It's a great question. That's a good, I mean, hey. I agree. I mean, based on what we're seeing here in these questions, yes, these are great questions. Great question. You have a latent footprint that Brett Payne gives us in his affidavit. He gives us a latent footprint that was found outside of Dylan's bedroom door, and Brett Payne interpreted that, according to his affidavit, as that was the killer's direction out of the house. That is Brett Payne's interpretation. He gives us one latent footprint right in front of Dylan's door, of course. And Brett Payne, knowing what we know about this bulbous creation, I hope we know this at this point, he, again, anything with his name attached to it, there's going to be some bullshit in it. And this happens to be one of those pieces, I believe. Yeah. Because it doesn't suggest that. Brett Payne is trying to say, he's trying to come up with, what Brett Payne is doing there is, he is trying to make Dylan's narrative work. That's what he's trying to do there. And it doesn't. You're not going to have one latent footprint just show up. First of all. And then second of all, it's outside of Dylan's door. Okay. It's a Vans sneaker type of shoe, by the way. Yes, it is. It's a Vans sneaker type of latent shoe print. Right. But Brett Payne says that suggests, or that confirms the suspect's path of travel back outside of the house after committing the murders. That's what Brett Payne interprets that as, right? In his report. And that is, yes, that is absolutely ludicrous as well. Right. Of course, anything Brett Payne touched, yes, you already know you're in for a fucking joke. But yeah, and that's a part of his work here as well. The latent shoe print, that is Brett Payne's work here. Remember, we've seen a lot of Brett Payne's work here, guys, and it's really bad. Yeah. Bulbous creation. That's why we call him the bulbous creation. Yeah. Anyway, I like these questions, and I like these questions, guys. These are the exact questions that I have, we all have, I think. So it's nice to hear them, condensed down in a Q&A session like this. It's nice to hear. It's nice to hear this sort of back and forth, because these are questions, they're reasonable. And this guy, I mean, he may be a quack. I don't know. I don't know this guy. I mean, he may be a quack. It doesn't seem like he's a quack. I mean, I don't know. He is retired FBI. He has, apparently, according to his resume that he rattled off, I mean, he seems to have a lot of experience with the FBI things and cases of whatever. So I mean, unless he's a complete quack or lost his marbles, I mean, he seems to know what he's talking about, at least from a FBI perspective or a federal perspective. So it doesn't seem like a complete quack. I don't know. Then again, hey, just gotta say, I don't know. Never met the guy. Never talked to the guy. We don't know. He may be off his rocker. I don't fucking know. Doesn't seem like it. Doesn't sound like it. But who the fuck knows? You never know. But anyway, whatever. Quick break, and then let's get back to this. I want to get back to more of that, all right? There's good questions. We see that in the handwritten notes, and I think where he's another thing that supports what he's saying is in the handwritten notes, in the documents, right? We do come across some handwritten notes. You guys have seen this. We showed those handwritten notes, all right? Where it does say in those handwritten notes that there's really no linking the two crime scenes together. There's no linking the murders on the third floor. There's no trails leading from the third floor down to the second floor. Those murders happen with Zan and Ethan. And then there's no trail that I believe runs from that murder scene into the exit, kind of thing. So there are handwritten notes in the documents that do say there's really no trail between the two crime scenes. And it's almost characterized as two separate crime scenes. The third floor is one separate crime scene, and the second floor is the other crime scene. Two separate crime scenes almost. It's almost, you can almost sort of interpret it that way, because there's no blood trails. There's no trails from the killer from one area to the next area. There's no really trails. That's what he's saying here, and that's a problem. And you could see that in the documents. Yes, that is in the documents. There are handwritten notes that speak to that very fact. That's all in their handwriting. That is true. He's not making whatever portion he's going with this. That can be supported by their own notes and their own documents. So I think that's credible. You can support that argument because they themselves say we don't have a connection like that here. And that's in their own handwriting. So yes, that's very good. And that's solid to me. And we've seen those documents as well. We've seen them. We've gone over the handwritten notes. I showed you some of the handwritten notes back. Those are the most important pieces of that document body. That's why. And I'm showing you, right? So I'm telling you, we are the greatest. And the reason why we focused in those handwritten notes is because that is where the bread and butter is going to lie. Those handwritten notes, that's where the bread and butter is going to be. And that's why I showed those to you guys. Fuck. I mean, we can look at all the shit. But when you got handwritten notes like that, speaking to what these people were actually talking about, and I'm keeping notes of these bullet points, okay? That's, to me, that's the bread and butter. Because you're in the meeting itself. You're in the meeting itself, first of all. And it doesn't matter what you're putting out to the press, okay? You're in this particular meeting, and you are hearing firsthand what is being said in this meeting, and we're not going to the press, I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? So whatever you're hearing in this meeting is going to be very close, or if not, what actually is going on in this case. That's why those handwritten notes are so important. And that's why we talked about them a long time ago. Anyway, we are the greatest. Those handwritten notes are extremely important. Any handwritten note in this case is important. Yeah. The rest of it, I mean, you could put out anything you want to the press. You could put out anything you want, as we see in some of these emails. You could say whatever you want to say to the press. You could do whatever you want to do. I could tell you a million stories about nothing to the press. And you would have no idea what's going on in the case. And in fact, we don't. Most of the time, we don't. You know, of course, we don't. So anyway, whatever. But those handwritten notes are important. I do know that. You know that. Even though I'm stupid and dumb. But I'm the greatest, so I still can't reconcile these things. But I'm lucky. My luck gonna run out pretty soon here. Your luck gonna run out, Mrs. John. Your luck is gonna run out, Mrs. John. Yes, it will. I'll throw some patent on your ass again. Just to reinforce the fact you ain't gonna win the war. You are not gonna win the war, Mrs. John. Look at this shit.
No more battles to win.
I don't know.
He watched Americans compete on the playing field. Again, he saw the fighting spirit, the will to win, a quality he loved and admired, and which epitomized himself. Struggle was the test of a man. War, the supreme struggle, provided the highest test.
That's right, Mrs. John. Yeah, that's right, Mrs. John. I hope you're paying attention. Yeah, look at that's me, and I'm gonna win this war, and
Expected his own death to be spectacular.
that's right,
His one
and
prediction
it was
He
actually.
was more mistaken than in the planning of the
I was
attack.
pushed off a cliff by my dad. Anyway. Yeah, my death was spectacular, actually, Mrs. John. You knew I was going to be making an appearance tonight, didn't you? Yes, you did. How can you refuse? MD, my stumps program is being delayed. I'm sorry. I have to, there's some things I have to take care of first, though, with it, okay? Yeah, but you're all gonna love the stumps program. Look, it's only $5,000. That includes all the meals, the lodging, okay? It's $5,000, guys. You can send your loved ones to the Stumps program. Okay. $5,000. I'll take them off your hands for a couple weeks, okay, guys? All right. I love you. I love you. It'll just cost you $5,000. But look, when they come back, they're going to be a lean, mean, like fighting machine, loving machine, okay? After we get done with them. It is very much like a baptism. Hey, what happened to my chat? My chat is like pause. What happened to my chat? Hang on. Hello. Let's see. Can I send that? What's going on? Hello. Well, hang on. I can't send it here. Hang on. I gotta send it. I can't send this shit. What the fuck? Hang on. Go ahead. I can't send this shit. What the hell, man? Well, what's wrong with this thing? Love you all too. I can't see the fucking shit. Hello. Why can't I send this shit? Hang on. Well, maybe is that the problem? Yeah. That ain't the fucking problem. What's the problem here? Now I'm sending all kinds of shit here. It's so stupid, guy. I can't send a fucking shit. Well, now what happened? Now I can't see anybody. What the fuck? That work? Now I can't see nobody. That's great. That's just fucking great. I don't know what happened to chat. Yeah, hang on. Show chat view. Okay, there we go. Oh, yeah, there I am. Hello. There I am. See, I knew I was coming back. Hello. Hello, everybody. Okay. What are we doing? Welcome back to the show. Oh, boy. That's right. We're at war. Actually, we're at war. I forgot. God damn you. That's right. Quick break. We get back to Chris Whitcomb. Chris Whitcomb. All right. Interesting. Attorney Andrew D. Myers and attorney Yoli Medina from the Medina clan, also known as Drug Runner. No, I mean, isn't that a cartel, Masternature? No, it's not. I don't know what that is. My daughter, when she was 7 years old, she asked me if she could get us Savannah was a very naughty girl. When she was 7 years old, she asked me to get this certain type of doll for her. It's like 12 inches tall. It was a porcelain doll. I said, no, Savannah, I can't afford this doll right now for you. And she said, Mama, get me a doll for me. I said, no, Savannah, I don't have the money to pay for a doll. And now my layaway credit's all fucked up. She said, Mama, get me porcelain doll. I said, Savannah, did you not hear me? We're poor as fuck. And you know what she said to me after that? She said, Mama, you're gonna end up like Jimmy Hoffa if you don't get me that fucking doll. All right, sorry. Yeah, Mama, Jimmy Hoffa, you. All right, sorry. I'll tell you what, she was a bad fucking child. Anyway, this is Nancy Guthrie reporting live. I finished my story. I hope you like it. Fuck yeah. Fucking Guthrie Hoffa. Fine. Thanks a lot, Savannah. Just call me Guthrie Hoffa. Guthrie Hoffa. Oh, she said, Mama, get me doll. I said, no. Oh, she said, Mama, Jimmy Hoffa, you. All right. I guess it's fucking true. Love you. Well, jeez, okay. Well, Nancy Guthrie signing off. Fuck off. Jeez. I thought that was a good fucking story, but I thought, fuck you, Americans. Fucking Americans. You fucking Americans. Nancy, you're not British, though, are you? I'm not fucking. Fuck off. I should be British, but I'm not. Fucking Savannah. What's so fucking funny? I should be British, but I'm not because of Savannah. Fucking bitch daughter.
met the Queen, but no, Savannah. Oh my God. Oh my God, it's a fucking deer. That's a big fucking deer. Jesus. Don't hurt me, dear.
All right, school days. I think we should litigate shit. I want to litigate shit. Man, I want to litigate shit. I can't litigate nothing. All right, fuck off. Fuck off. I want to litigate, but I can't fucking litigate nothing. Man, drive me crazy. Fucking Nancy Guthrie shit. Stanley, I don't know what the fuck you doing half the time. You bring all this shit on. You bring this shit into our spirit realm here. Fuck off. I'm trying to litigate shit here. What the fuck is going on here with this shit? Hang on, guys. Yeah, fuck off.
Out of the room. So how somebody would flee that type of a terrible situation without leaving blood is the first question.
That's a good question.
Your question is...
Great question.
I've not seen evidence of any footprints of any kind, blood or anything else anywhere in the flat surfaces outside those two bedrooms. Okay, what you're talking about, the
yes,
the footprint outside Dylan's room is complex because it's taken in different places, and it appears to me, based on my investigative experience, it appears that it's not in blood, but that it is identified under a blood reactant, which reacts to protein, and it was found after the fact. It is. I can tell you right now, you would not look at the floor and see it. That's right. So one would ask the question, well, if it's in blood and you can't see it, what happened? And the answer obviously is, well, one of the many obvious answers. An answer would be that somebody cleaned it up.
Okay, I have a question about the unknown substance that.
Pretty good, eh? I like this. Hey, I gotta say. I like this. I like the way this guy thinks, right? He's thinking like he's I think, you know, I don't know this guy, and I haven't read his book. He did put that book out. But at least the way he's questioning things, I like that. He's going from he's going there's an order to his thinking, right? He doesn't have all the information, obviously, but and none of us do, of course, but based on the information though that he has, the way he's ordering, the way he's thinking about the information that he does have, the way he's ordering that in his mind is good to me. It makes sense. It resonates. You know, you can order information different ways, but, it's a great question.
That the blood was diluted with.
Blood was diluted.
Because
cleaned up.
People say that it could be like mucus. It could be other substances, and I'm just trying to find out if the blood was diluted with some kind of mucus, they would be able to determine that, right? The forensic people or not?
I would certainly think so, but let me ask, confront that. Most people, or the people that you're talking about, I assume, are referencing Paulette Sutton's report, where she says that Kaylee Goncalves, that Xana Kernodle suffered injuries to her face in her room. Or I guess, I don't know that she says specifically, maybe she's implying that it was outside her room, whatever, but that the injuries to the soft tissue of her mouth might have generated saliva that would explain the dilution of those unknown substances. But I would say this, look at Brent Turvey's report, Dr. Brent Turvey's report, which is now out. It was, I think it was forwarded by People or Fox, I'm not sure, but it's out there. But you look at those and you look at the quantity of blood that was transferred, and you ask yourself, as a reasonable person, not a court-certified forensic analyst, but you look at it and say, is it plausible in any way that you could have that quantity of bloodletting during the commission of the crime from the kitchen, basically from the kitchen down through the beer pong table, turning left down that hallway, a significant distance, let's say approximately 30 feet. And every single stain, or the vast majority of the stains, somehow was diluted with saliva, where she never really, we don't know that she suffered those injuries until she got in her room. She didn't go back out of the room. She never left the room. And then Paulette Sutton's report says that as well. So if one would argue that those would be diluted with an unknown substance, I would say, how could you conceivably imagine somebody secreting that much saliva to somehow dilute that much blood? And if so, like you said, wouldn't it have the characteristics, the DNA characteristics of that?
Yeah.
And that's not the case, because those stains were identified by DNA, and they were attributed to Kaylee and Maddie on the third floor. There are very significant questions that I talk about in greater depth in the book. And again, these things that we're talking about right now, you asked me why I wrote this book, because I looked at this, and I thought to myself, how is this conceivable, and how do we overlook it? I'm not saying Brian Kober did, I'm stipulating that he pled guilty, but I'm saying in many places in the book, how is it conceivable that we reconcile these things? If there was a cleanup, how did he do this when we look at the 112 video camera of what the police have alleged was Anna's voice and a loud thump at 4:17:31 or 32, something like that on that camera, and the white car speeding away approximately 3 minutes later? How could a lone assailant have cleaned up, altered, or in any way explain the differences there? And there are many, many others. The object in the killer's hand. There are many, many others, but that is an important thing that I bring up.
You just brought up my next question.
Okay, Andrew, lay it on me.
You've heard it before,
you guys are
I know.
great. I got to say, I love your legal questions. Your legal
Thank
questions
you.
are so specific.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I'm sure you've heard this one before. I know you've heard this one before. Maybe 2.5 years ago, Yoli and I and another person did an episode where I forget, Yoli, whether it was 5 red flags or 10 red flags. We were just speculating on what we had to go on then, and we said reasons why this crime was not committed by a sole person. It was committed by 2 or more people. In the book, you present some pretty solid evidence of that. Could you just walk us through what you found that we didn't know back then?
All right, hang on. It's another. Okay, that's another topic. It's a transition into another topic. So anyway, we'll take a break. Interesting, right, guys? You like that, right? I hope that this is cool, huh? This is interesting. It does like it does make you I don't know. I'm agreeing with a lot here. I'm agreeing with a lot. Interesting. Yeah. Well. I don't know. Anyway, we'll carry on. Keep you in the semi-dark. How's that? Hang on. Semi-dark. There we go. Hang on. God, no, there you're slipping off again. See, okay, I'll keep you in the red. I'll keep you in the red. Not the dark anymore. It's the red. Mrs. Shaw, this is all your fault, by the way. All of what you see before you is the remnants of this great war that has been waged now for the past, I don't know, almost 100 fucking days. No, well, it feels like it. Anyway, the end of the war, unfortunately, is going to be 9 parts. That's just the way it goes in Hollywood. Christ, you can't have an ending to something without having it be 9 fucking parts. But, anyway, like, This is the war to end all wars, right? Part 2. This is the war to end all wars, right? But we have part 3 to it. Why? Why is that? It just is. Fuck. Hollywood, man. Fucking Hollywood, you know. This is the greatest day of my life, right? Part 2. Why? Why? I don't know. I am the greatest of all time. I'm the dumbest of all time, and I'm also the luckiest of all time. That's right, all three. I'm the perfect trinity of godliness and dumbness and Irish, I guess, I suppose. I am the Holy Trinity. I'm lucky. I'm the greatest. And I'm the dumbest. What a great trinity. Must say, actually, it is like that. You're so wise. But why are you so stupid? I don't understand. I don't know. That's one thing I never taught. Did I teach that? Oh my God. Oh my God. How dare you? I'm thinking by the pool, by the water, by the Coliseum, baby. I am by the Coliseum. Yes, I am. Interesting. We're at the Coliseum here, baby. I'm in Pompeii, baby. That's where I am. I'm in Manila, baby. Thriller in Manila. I am in Pompeii, baby. That's where I am. Where are you? Where's my garden at in the red? Are you in Spain somewhere in a fucking matador match? I hope not. God damn you. Welcome back. All right, here you go. Yeah, sorry, I kept you in the red there for a little bit. Oh yeah. Hey, you know it. You know it, baby. Who's talking to you right now? Who's talking to you? I don't know. I'm not sure. But we're getting there. Yeah. All right. Back on track. Down the railroad track. We're running like a steamroller. We're running like a freighter, like a freight train, baby. We're rolling down the track. That's what we're doing. All right. Back to this guy's shit. Yeah. Well. Something like that. But
try Taco Bell's 5, 7, and
I ain't trying Taco Bell's anything. Thank you very much. No habla inglés. No habla inglés. And I shot her. That's right. Don't forget that. In my time of dying. Yeah, you heard that. Did I play that for you again? Right. You still paying attention? You never know what you're going to hear. He threw in a little Hey Joe there at you. You didn't even know it. Anyway, cool. Yeah. You heard that. All right, let's get back to this. Chump. Why you talking smack? Why you gotta be a chump? So many chumps. Why you gotta be a chump? I don't get it. God, a lot of chumps. I tell you what. Fuck. I'm standing in the fucking... I am in the fucking... Where am I? I'm in the goddamn Delta. Where I'm fucking standing right in the middle of the Delta. Fucking crocodiles everywhere. God damn. Fuck fishing. I hate fishing. I don't want to fish. I fucking hate fishing. You know that? I don't want to fucking fish no way. Imagine growing up in a fucking Delta and hate fucking fishing. What a lonely life that is. Everybody fucking fishing. I fucking hate fishing. I don't want to. Oh yeah. Lonely fucking life. I say, well, what do you want to do, Tyrone? I said, well, I want to go out here and fucking look at the fucking trees. I found some black Moroccan moon dust. So how about we do that? We do the black Moroccan moon dust and we look at the spaceships in the sky, or you can go fucking fishing. I don't know. Whatever you want to fucking do, it don't fucking matter to me. I'd rather look at the spaceships in the sky on the black Moroccan moon dust than to try to fucking get a fucking trout. Just saying. When I think about that, weird. I don't know. I'd rather be doing that. Anyway, nobody want to do that. But there I was. 1907. Holy shit. In the middle of the goddamn wood with my goddamn cousins. Fuck. They go out there, we're hunting a fucking animal for 5,000 gold. You remember that story. You remember that fucking story. All right, here we go. 1907, part 3 coming at you. Wrapped in gold. Wrapped in gold. Oh my God, Masternature. Terrible is what you are. You're terrible, you know that? Absolutely horrible. Is Mrs. John still alive? Hey, is Mrs. John still out there? Mrs. John? Wait a minute.
You took a pop on my drink, pop on my fit spot.
Yeah, we will put it on. People join in?
Yes.
Someone said hi.
Hi, everyone. I make lemonade alcohol.
Yeah, he made a delicious cocktail. He finally found an alcohol drink he likes.
All right. Mrs. John!
He made the Masters, the azalea cocktail that's famous at the Masters golf tournament.
Yeah.
All right. The war is almost over.
And you like it?
Mrs. John.
Yes.
What does it taste like?
Tastes like bluey.
What? Tastes like what? Bluey?
Yes, it tastes like sour.
Sour? Because it's lemonade.
Yeah, I know. I love it. It's sour.
All right, Mrs. John. Yeah. You know what happens after this? Straight to the fucking bell tower. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you know what happens after this part? I don't even have to explain it anymore to you. The war is not over yet. It should be at this point. It really should be. But anyway, back to this fucking guy. All right. Yeah. Here we go. Hey, it's a bluey. Hey, you know what? Hey, after midnight, hey, everybody needs a bluey. Okay? I'm sorry. I love you. Everybody needs a bluey. You know what I'm saying? All right. I love you, ladies. Hey, ladies, I love you. I know it's not midnight yet, babies, but just think about the bluey. Just think about the bluey. That's all I'm asking for. Just think about the bluey. All right, think about it.
So may have been one of your original flags, and it is this. If you
Many ways to use the bluey.
I look at them discreetly, right? As a former investigator, and looking at this case, you have three distinct
where's my pipe?
In my opinion, you have the third floor bedroom. You have the space leading downstairs to the second floor bedroom.
Right.
I say that because we have two tragically deceased victims on the third floor, and two on the second floor, and those are contained. Right? From the door in, the evidence is quite clear. The
contained.
Third floor bedroom downstairs to the other one.
Remember that word, contained?
Separate thing. Within the third floor bedroom, as a contained crime scene, a discrete crime scene by itself, you have Kaylee and you have Maddie in the bed. And I can tell you, having spent tremendous amounts of time miring through this, Kaylee's injuries were threefold, and this was widely reported and discussed. Kaylee suffered
You wanted blood and guts.
Evidence of the crime of this mechanism is petechia in the soft tissue of her mouth and I believe in her eyes, which reflects any forensic examiner will tell you the blood was constricted somewhere between her heart and her brain. The pressure creates those blood vessels, makes those blood vessels burst, and the physical evidence is petechia, and it's in the autopsy reports. Somehow, Kaylee Goncalves was asphyxiated, meaning choked, smothered, something created that mechanism that created petechia. That's a specific injury that requires something other than an edged weapon, and all we've ever talked about is a knife. Second,
it's force, right? It's force that would cause that. Constriction.
It's a constriction of the blood flow. That pressure. I'm not going to go into it because I don't want to create more discussion in that. All I can say is the autopsy showed she was clearly had petechia, which is induced not by a blunt force trauma, not by an edged weapon, but by a constriction that led to that specific evidence of that specific injury. So the killer or killers get in the bed and they physically have to go hands-on Kaylee and inflict that injury. That's one mechanism of injury. The second mechanism of injury is that she suffered severe blunt force trauma to the head, right? Severe to the point where, and these reports have come out, I hate to do this because it's so grotesque.
You wanted blood and guts.
In the public domain. So severe that it broke bones in her face and it broke at least fractured parts of her skull. And it disfigured her to the point where you could not tell. Police said they couldn't tell what they were looking at, right? So that's a second thing. That's blunt force trauma. And the police have said that it was not capable that somebody could have done that with her fist. She was beaten with an outside object. Then the third mechanism of injury was edged weapon wounds, stab wounds, slash wounds, and many of them, right? So you've got three. Now let's go back to what you originally asked me. She is in bed. A 19-year-old, 20-year-old, I can't remember how old she was right now.
21.
With Maddie Mogan directly beside her.
21.
Imagine trying to inflict those injuries with two hands, trying to inflict blunt force trauma, significant blood loss, and then the edge weapon wounds, while Maddie Mogan is lying in bed beside her. So somebody might say, well, they killed Maddie first and then they moved to Kaylee. And I will say again, the number of wounds inflicted on Maddie. How did somebody not get out of bed, fight back? Why was there nothing to suggest that? The first indication there was more than one person involved is the sheer difficulty in trying to explain how one person inflicted all those injuries on Kaylee and all those injuries on Maddie in the closed space of that bedroom, in that bed, without somebody getting up, running away, or somehow reacting. That is one of the answers to your questions. There's others, like downstairs in the bed with Xana and Ethan. Ethan suffered wounds to his extremities and obviously the fatal blows to his neck, and died in bed because he was naked wearing white socks. Paulette Sutton in a report said he did not leave the bedroom. He did not leave the bed. And we know there was a horrendous fight between Xana and her killer on the floor. And it's obvious. It's all over the floor. You can see geometric patterns in the dried blood on her body, which suggests that somebody was clothing or something else was rubbing up against. There was a fight on the floor. Ethan was 6'4", 228 pounds.
Athletic guy.
He was a high school athlete.
Yeah.
To explain to me how he allowed his girlfriend to die on the floor in a horrific fight after running down the hallway, whatever else, without getting out of bed to defend her. There may be a logic that makes sense of this. That logic exceeds my ability to muster it.
So what you're saying is, at the very least,
well, there you go. Right.
At least two assailants was that while one person was being accosted, whether it was Kaylee or whether it was Xana, someone had to be there to restrain the other person.
Well, that's certainly one of them. There are others, but we look at these things as lawyers, as investigators. We look at these things and say, look, we look for motive, means, and mechanism, right? We all know that. You watch a crime show, you see that. Motive is an issue by itself. Means, lots of people had means. But in terms of the mechanism, how did these crimes occur within the framework of the narrative that's been presented? That is a big problem. One other, and there are many, I'll just make one other suggestion. When police found and processed the crime scene of Xana's room with Xana and Ethan in that room, Ethan suffered significant injuries to his extremities, right? All of those injuries produced blood loss into the sheets, into the mattress, into the bed itself. When police found Ethan, he was covered with 2 blankets. Those blankets covered all the injuries to his extremities, and except the lower legs, which had no injuries. So how would a person explain that he died in bed from blood loss with these grotesque injuries and then somehow pulled 2 blankets over him to cover those injuries? All of those injuries that occurred under the blankets, the 2 blankets, under those blankets, as police found and processed the crime scene. So the first question is, how did he get covered up? And who did it? And why? Behavioralist question.
Yeah, there was some mention about Ethan having some injuries on his legs. You're saying there was no injuries in his lower extremities?
Okay, great question. I'm sorry. I love the way you guys are so precise, because it's so important, and we have a time constraint, and I've got to skip over it. Let me say very specifically, from the knees down, one of them was proximal to his knee, his right knee. But from the knees down, there were no obvious injuries between basically his knee. And I want somebody to come back and say it was an inch from his knee, right? Basically from his knees to his ankles, there were no apparent injuries. And those parts of his body were not covered with a blanket. From the knees up, he had significant injuries that you could see from 20 feet away, okay? I'm not talking about a stab wound. I'm talking about things that would be obvious. Those injuries were covered. So the questions arises, why would somebody cover those injuries? Is it, because you have forensic analysis of physical evidence, but behavioralism is a very important crime scene analysis too. And we've all seen the crime shows, the profiling and things like that. Human behavior by the assailant is as obvious to some people as blood spatter is to another type of investigator, right? Well, so explain why somebody would put blankets on a deceased person in a crime that is so ridiculously violent in mechanism. And that is an important question.
Talking about Ethan, I know you said you're up against the time constraint.
Well, there you go.
I've never...
Another good point. Hey, all right, guys. So you see how this is. Where are we at in this? Yeah, there's a little bit more to go, but Hey, good interview. I like it. I like the. Hey. So, quick break. Probably wrap it up. We'll wrap it up for the night, eh? Possibly, right? Anyway. I think we circle back to the car a little bit, so that's good. Circle back to that car again. That's good. It's the first thing we open with. And of course the Prime. The Prime always makes an appearance. Of course the Prime. Or the Co-Prime. Got to be a Co-Prime. Don't have that. Not at all. Not at all, guys. Wouldn't have that much on her. Alright, hang on. Yep. Well, wrap things up. Let's wrap things up, loves. Something like that. Tomorrow's another day. Fight a war. Smoke a cigarette. Yes, indeed. Terrible. Don't make any sense. Does it? I don't know. I don't know. Whole different time, though. Different time. Whole different time. Time and space. Different time. Yeah. It's a very different time between 79 and 2022. Different times. Different times. Cameras everywhere. 2022. Cameras everywhere. We know about DNA. We know about, we know about a lot of stuff. 2022. We didn't know about in 79. But yet, as smart as we are, we still pick one of the worst houses you could possibly pick to kill people in. Right? I mean, you can go back to that. That is one idea that you really can't get around very easily. Why would you do that? You can't get around that. Even if you're so obsessed with one of these people, you would not. I don't. In 2022, I do not think you would do that. Not in a college town. No, I don't think you can do that. I think you're going to wait. I think if you're smart, like if you're a PhD student, you're going to wait, and you're going to wait. That's what you're going to do. You're going to wait. You know? You're going to wait until the time is right, and then you're going to do what you're going to do. But you ain't going to do it in the middle of Vatican City here, baby. You ain't going to do that. If you're that bright, you're a PhD fucking student in criminology, for Christ's sake. You've written papers on this shit, right? You're not going to do that. You're going to wait. It doesn't work. No matter which, it's bizarro. It's fucking bizarro. It really is. Then you have Koberger pleading guilty as if it's totally possible when everything else says it's completely not possible. So, fucking hey, man. That's the great paradox, right? It's a great paradox. Whatever it is, it's a paradox. Everything else says it's impossible. Right? Pretty much, it seems impossible. Very impossible. Completely impossible. But, yeah. All right, guys. Time to go. Anyway, I love you. What do you think? What do you think? They did tear that house down. They did tear that house down. It was a biohazard. Yeah, they're like, yeah, it was a biohazard. We didn't have enough money to protect the house day and night. You know, we didn't have the money for that. Those are the excuses they use. Well, that's what they said. Yeah. The dollhouse. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Yeah. I love you. That's interesting, though. Hey, I'll tell you what. He's an interesting person. Yeah, I didn't read the book. I didn't read his book. I didn't get his book or nothing. I mean, other people, I'm sure, have, but I don't know. It's interesting. Right? It brings up, I don't know, good questions. You know, of course. Seems to be on the wavelength. What is ever going to come of it? It doesn't seem like much at this point, but yeah, we'll see. Yeah, disappointing. Yeah. Can't stay silent forever, you know. Nope. But anyway, let's finish this off. I don't know. What are we thinking for tonight? Oh, I don't know. What are we thinking of? I always like this. Of course, you know I have to cut this shit out, but whatever. It's fun doing it, right? Oh, God. I love you. That's why you gotta bootleg this shit. Alright, hang on. Where is it? Oh, yeah, alright. Here we are. Alright. I love you, babies. Hey, we'll do a reading next time. We'll do a reading. What do you think? We'll do a reading next time, right? We'll do a reading. Yeah, it's consistent with the theme, guys. Consistent with the theme. All right, we gotta go, babies. I love you, baby.